you guys remember at one point in our lives, YG, the company of Blackpink, icon, treasure, winner, actor, musician, wasn't jet skis under them? They had a makeup brand, which still exists to this day. It's called Moonshot, but actually I was looking recently and I think they changed hands and they don't own them anymore. I remember it was like 2015, 16, or could have even been earlier than that. Peak K-beauty time. I guess now K-beauty is popular, but I don't know, like the vibes of K-beauty back in the day were totally different. Me and Joe Kim were fucking killing it with like the vlogs and the K-beauty content. But when YG was like, hey, we're gonna start a beauty brand, we were like, ooh, a beauty brand? Mind you, at the time, their whole concept was, I actually found an old ass all K-pop article from when they were first dropping the brand. Oh yeah, oh my God, it's 2014, bruh. I believe on the Wikipedia page, it was filed under YG in like 2013 or something. How do I forget 21? They were under YG, oh my God. How do I forget Big Bang? Big Bang was under them, oh my. They are under them. TINT. Besides Moonshot, they actually had a clothing brand as well called Nonagon. I don't know if they still have it, but Moonshot was like a big deal because it was like YG's makeup brand. And the thing that set them apart was, besides having all of these super big K-pop artists being the models and stuff like that, compared to, this was back, oh wait, I kind of missed this about K-beauty brands back in the day. A lot of the brands had like their own identity. Mind you, a lot of them were very much like, oh, we have green tea in our shit from Jeju Island. But still, I feel like the brands back then really had their own identity, like Etude House, Innisfree, Nature Republic, Holika. They were all very unique, I think, as opposed to today where every brand looks exactly the fucking same, which I don't think is, I think it's just like a reflection of the times. I don't blame them or anything. But with Moonshot, especially back in the day, they set themselves apart. Their whole concept was supposed to be like, because Moonshot refers to Apollo 11's legendary landing on the moon on July 20th, 1969, which turned a dream into reality. So they had a very much like very space theme, basically like Ariana Grande's R.E.M. Beauty now. It's kind of what Moonshot's vibe was back in the day. But later on throughout the years, they just became more and more like a basic K-beauty brand, and eventually they became really only just known for like their cushion. But now recently, I was watching a video from Style Korean. Love Style Korean. Me and Eddie filmed so many videos there. Love when they send me free stuff to use. But I swear to God, some of the content that like their staff at the company also makes content on the channel, but I swear they always look like they have like a gun pointed at their heads behind the camera because they all look like they don't want to be there. But one of the girls, she really likes to use Moonshot cushions, but in a recent video, she pulled out this weird ass looking blue cushion. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, Moonshot? Did she have a rebranding? And lo and behold, she had a rebranding. And I looked into it, and one, it seems like YG doesn't really own it anymore. And two, all their previous stuff on their official website, like you can't buy it anymore. It's like literally just like 4 products. Oh, no, just kidding. They still do have the older cushions. And if I want to be honest, I fucking love the new aesthetic. At first I was weirded out, but I think my reaction was simply from the fact that it actually doesn't look like a basic ass K-beauty brand anymore. I actually picked up, not all 4 products, just 3, the cushion, one of the eyeshadow palettes, and one of the tints. As I'm trying them today, I'm gonna give you like a full ass YouTube like analysis documentary video on this, but Moonshot from my memories of it, because I remember back in the day when it first dropped, no one was using it. It was very unique. And you know, in Korea, even till now, the whole thing is like daily makeup. Eventually they're like, okay, we need to actually make money now. So they started becoming more and more like, I don't want to say basic, but just more like not so out there, I guess, for a K-beauty brand. So the first product that I'm going to use is the Performance Cushion Light Fixing with SPF 43 PA Double Plus, surprisingly. PA Double Plus is a little bit surprising, but to be honest, these days, most people I think in Korea don't really rely on their cushion and makeup for SPF. They'll use a separate, you know, SPF, and then they'll use their cushion. With a dense and tight 1-layer cover, light and ultra adhering fixing cushion as if it were my own. What is this English? We call it the sangse page, the description page. I love Korean sangse pages because they're so much more detailed and very pretty to look at. But the pictures are just always so fucking long and they take forever to load. But whatever the image was, they'll just translate everything directly to English, and sometimes it sounds really weird. But the packaging is giving me very like 80s businesswoman in a power suit. Like, power suit? Is that right? Like the suit, like the shoulders. When you open up the cushion, that's what it looks like. Oh shit. Because this part is curved, the mirror is only about this wide, which is a little bit annoying because it's kind of small for me. I love the mirror on the eyeshadow palette because it's huge. Like, I can see my whole ass face in this, and it's so like nice to hold. But this is the puff that comes with just a regular ruby cell puff. It looks like a piece of toast, actually. Don't really like the shape of it. It's a very emehan size for me. Too small for 3 fingers, but a little bit too big for 2. But whatever. And I have mine in the shade 22 and Natural Beige, which is a little bit, not too dark. It's a little bit yellow for me, but better than it being too light, I guess, right? I tried this once. It's so full coverage. You have to be careful because I usually do one half of my face first. Even this is a little bit too much. So back to when, like I guess 2014, when it first opened, they had a store over, I believe it was by Amguk Station. You know the area of Korea where everyone like puts on hanbok and they walk around the little Korean village and like take you pictures. It's like that area. Like the building was fancy as hell. The first floor was Moonshot Cosmetics and the second floor was like a YG gift merchandise shop. Oh wow, this is actually fucking nice. I already used this once, but I'm surprised using it on camera. Yeah, back when it first opened, they said, what was it? I read the article again, and it said that there were over 208 products that were launching. At the time I went in there, I remember telling Joan, I was like, I don't think there's anything that I want in here because, as you guys know, I'm not really creative with makeup, so I myself had a hard time looking for anything in there where I could be like, oh, I can use that for every day. But what I thought was a little bit funny was that I do, a specific memory I do have, more than the makeup itself, I think the most popular product at the time was like the perfume that they had, because they actually had a perfume. They call it GD's perfume. I've never actually smelled it myself, and I don't even know if it's actually GD's perfume. It could just be some Bath & Body Works type of shit, and they slapped GD's name on it, but I never really smelled it, and I wasn't really interested either. I was still very much into my Lush Dirty, or my Britney Spears Dark Fantasy.
Just gay faggotry.
It's really smooth. I like that. I will say though, it fixes to the skin so quickly, so you kind of have to work in little parts, but it adheres so thin, like it doesn't feel like makeup. But after that, I didn't really hear much coming from them. There wasn't that much buzz, which is weird to me because I was like, literally it's YG's makeup brand. Like, but later on, they started bringing Blackpink on. I think this is when Blackpink debuted. After they debuted, they got on board. They opened a store in Myeongdong, which is a super cool fucking store. It's very like MAC in a way, very like dark, like black and very like spacey. Yeah, even then, it was not like really hitting. I think. I do K-beauty, but I don't delve that much into like the K-beauty space on like social media. I only watch the people I watch. What does that even mean? I don't go looking for like reviews and stuff usually. I like to just dive into things. But I remember one specific release I remember because I reviewed it was the Cream Paint Light Fit collection. I remember this specifically because at the time, especially during that time of K-beauty, all the colors of like lip tints and stuff in K-beauty were like pretty much the same, like orange, bright cherry, things like that. We still have those in brands today, but I think the general thing when people release lines of lip colors, it'll be like a bunch of natural colors, and then we'll have like the cherry red or like the coral or something. But even then, it still wasn't as bright as back then. But when this came out, I was like, nude colors? And I remember reading something saying like nude natural colors, good for Asian skin tones. I was like, I was on it. So I actually kept those for so long because I was like, oh, if I ever make a makeup brand, I want to remake these colors because they were so pretty, but they got so bad I like threw them out. I actually do have a video reviewing them on my channel, swatching all of them. I don't even want to go back and look at that because it's like cringe, but still in the middle. Yeah, back then, Blackpink was definitely, they really pushed them as the main models at the time. I wasn't sure about their popularity in Korea because I felt like only foreigners like talked about them at the time. But you know, being a YG group.
Lip Fit, Lip Fit Jisoo, Lip Fit Jennie, Lip Fit Lisa, Lip Fit Rosé.
I'm gonna go into their eyeshadow palette, but first I'm gonna apply a little bit of Urban Decay Primer Potion. After that, to be honest, I didn't, oh actually, no, there was one thing. At some point, they did release a collection with an artist under their acting division. They're kind of like, what is it? Yeah, the acting sector of YG or whatever. Yu Inna, who I'm not really familiar with, but they released a collection together. And I remember because, again, their Myeongdong store, they changed it completely, took everything out, and they replaced it with like this like Italian lavender field fantasy. What was it, lavender? What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of wheat fields. but it was the honey cover like collection that they made with her. I don't know how much input she had in the collection, but the collection was very beautiful. I remember being so into it. The lipsticks were really pretty looking, still very much colors of the time. But I think this is around the time as well when people started getting into like over lip. They'll put like a base color, they'll put like a point color in the middle. So you can kind of see that in the colors. I remember seeing them online and I was like, oh shit, those palettes are popping. And then I see in person, the palettes are literally like they weren't even this big. So I was like,
whatever that means.
And also the pan size, because they're little bars. I remember it just being so hard to get brushes in there. But anyway, the colors are beautiful, super wearable, but it was very different from Moonshot. But I think this is kind of the push that they needed to start getting recognition because the original stuff they came out with, it wasn't doing so hot, I think. But I believe I heard that this collection did well. Actually, let's talk about their aesthetic now for a second. One thing I noticed about the Western brands, especially ever since Fenty Beauty became a thing, more brands have been trying to become more inclusive, which is a good thing. But also one downside I think to that was that they all kind of ended up looking the same, because I guess to brands, inclusive means at the photo shoot like, oh, sheer nude tights, and like, you know, everyone will be like basic looking and then they just have like the makeup on, right? Not the actual products, but I think the aesthetics of the brand have become very boring or same, which is also an issue in Korea. All the brands literally look the same. It's funny to me because I have a makeup brand, which, honestly, I don't know, the status, I don't know. The company that worked on my brand, they have other brands that they're working on. They're very busy because they're opening them in other countries. So my brand has been put on pause. So I have no idea when she's making a comeback. But to be honest, even the aesthetic of my brand is a little bit kind of in that direction. I gave them like a skeleton of what kind of stuff I was into, but the overall like art direction of like the photo shoots and stuff, it's kind of just like every other K-beauty brand, very like natural and like,
Yes! Oh my god, yes!
Moonshot with their new rebranding, it's not super unique, because I also feel like ever since like things like Street Woman Fighter became popular, a lot of brands are also kind of doing this like 10 only like badass, like, you know, Jessie kind of vibe. But for a K-beauty brand, you don't see this often, to be honest. A lot of other brands will do like one collection with like someone from Street Woman Fighter and be like, oh, this is their badass collection. But Moonshot is like, this is like their thing now. But what I like about Moonshot's new aesthetic is kind of like they're also incorporating the kind of like space theme, which ties in with their name. Even the new aesthetic of their packaging, I am so into it. After the honey cover like collection, I literally ignored Moonshot because nothing from them interested me. And then I know at some point they were really heavily promoting in like Southeast Asia, I think. There's one YouTuber that I know that even modeled for them at some point. Eventually, they kind of stopped making a lot of color products. They probably did, but I never really noticed. Their line of microfit cushions that were really popular. I don't know if it was genuinely popular or if it was like, you know, people like Style Korean, Yes Style paying influencers to talk about their cushions. Because I swear to God, every K-beauty person that I did watch was literally fucking talking about this goddamn micro correct fit cushion. I tried it, I didn't really like it because I felt like it was so thick, because you guys know that I like to apply base really thin. Coverage was great, but because of that, it was kind of heavy on the skin for me. My skin is very like sensitive when it comes to the heaviness of products because it can easily look obvious on my skin, which is both textured and kind of thin and shows texture of makeup very well. But yeah, for a long time, they were pretty much just known for these goddamn cushions. Now with their new rebranding, they have the new cushion and this eyeshadow palette, which I'm gonna talk about. They have 3 colorways. It looks so beautiful. I really want this one. Number 1, Mystique. Moonshot, if you're watching this, send you girl some stuff. I love your new aesthetic. This is the eyeshadow palette I was wearing in my video with Teen from Roadbee when I did his makeup. I was fucking obsessed. But because I have so much cool tone makeup right now, I wanted to get the more, I'm kind of leaning back into warm makeup again, but I can't wear super warm makeup like number 2, Rhythmic Burn. So I went with Blazing, which is more of like a rosy palette, very like 3C Overtake vibe. Y'all remember that palette that like literally had all the K-beauty girlies like in a chokehold? It's very similar vibes to that. 8-pan eye palette presenting eye movement of new perspective with color spectrum transcending the boundaries of expression and mix and match of fresh texture. Very weird wording, but you know what? The fact that they're so into it, I love that. There is definitely warm colors in here, but I think it's because of this. If you cover this, it's kind of just like a rosy kind of palette, especially with these base colors. For me, I love this combination of colors because I'm the type to just do a base shade, a deepening shade, and then of course I have my little liner shade, and then there's a variety of glitters to kind of decorate the eye. When I made my own eyeshadow palette, that's kind of like the thing that I did, which I think is smart because when you have something like a palette with just like matte or something, or just shimmers. I'm not the type of person to be super creative every fucking day. Like I just want colors that I can easily go to. So I like that they still went with like this whole like unique aesthetic, but still wearable colors. I know I've been talking shit about K-beauty brands this whole video where I'm like, ugh, they're all the same. But I think it's more so like aesthetic-wise. I'm talking about like photo shoots and stuff. Same studios for every fucking photo shoot. Even if it's different models, they all have the same hair. Pulled back ponytail with like the 1 or 2 pieces of hair in front of the face. That whole with like the white turtleneck and like the sleeves over their hands and like that whole lot. It's like every brand. Oh my God, I love this. This is from Flower Nose. It's their 5-color eyeshadow palette in Ice Cream Latte. I need to make a whole video about this because they sent me their entire strawberry collection, which I like begged for. And they contacted me and they were like, hey, do you want us to send you the collection? I was like, yes! So thank you to them. But you guys know, I never fucking use ivory colors like this because I'm like, what is the point? But lately what I've been doing, I'll dip into there. It's almost like, not a cut crease, but I'll like brighten this inner corner. I guess it's like a cut crease in a way, but like not all the way here. I never used to do this, but I've been so into it lately is like extending my eye shape at the inner corner. And I feel like brightening this area first before doing this little, I guess, cat eye sort of like extending of the inner corner. It makes it look more believable. I got these pairs of lashes from China that Eddie bought for me from like Taobao or something. Omni Club Comic Fairy false eyelashes in Little Devil style. These are like the Doyen lashes. If I wasn't going anywhere to, I would definitely put them on just to show you the full give you the full fantasy, but I'm going to Daiso. So I do a lot of these eye looks, but I feel like, oh, even for me, I'm like, God, this needs an eyelash or like mascara, but I don't do that. So use a little bit of this just right here. Oh, so pretty. It's like a very fine, like, kind of like wet-looking pearl, kind of like the Urban Decay Space Cowboy eyeshadow. And then this, I have to, it used to, before I rubbed into it, it had like this kind of like speckly pattern. Ooh. You see that? Boing. Ooh. 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 Moonshot, you better fucking work. I'm gonna do a little bit of meat tweam on my eyes, a little under eye. I fucking hate doing eyebrows. They're so boring. Last but not least, the Performance Lip Blur Fixing Tint. I found it interesting that they also had 2 male models for this. I guess they were modeling the more neutral, gender neutral colors, but I got mine in the shade All Genre. I love that they show you a graphic of like the warm, the cool, and the neutral colors. So I got like just a neutral color because I tend to suit rose colors more, which All Genre seems to be. It seems like all these products though have this perphonology technology in it or something, which I guess is supposed to be like long wearing. What I fucking love about this is the texture. It's a velvet tint, but it's more on like the thick creamy side. I like the look of the packaging, but ergonomically it's horrible because especially if your fingers are slippery, this shit will slip out of your hands. And also, I don't know if it's different for every tint, but the way you would want to hold this doesn't match the angle of the applicator. So if I were to hold the applicator to how I would normally apply lip tint, I'm holding it like this, which I feel like I'm gonna break my wrist. So if I wanna hold it comfortably, I kind of have to hold it like this, which is weird because that's how the applicator is angled. Wild. Because it's more on the thick side, it fills in lip lines much, much better and makes your lips so much more smooth. Lately, what I've been doing is just doing the bottom lip, applying it up to the lip line and then blurring it a little bit outwards. And then I'll take like kind of like whatever's left on here and go over to the Cupid's bow. This is really pigmented, so that was a little bit much. I'll blur that out just on the Cupid's bow. Again, whatever's left. Just in the center. It's so blurry. Like there's clearly wrinkles in my lips, but like overall it almost looks like I have primer on my lips. And this actually sets, like it fixes itself to the lips. There's a lot of products like this, like the peri peri ones, but they don't actually dry. They kind of just stay like this kind of cream on your lips. To be honest, they're pretty drying. They're not the most forgiving on dry lips like mine. But if you're the type that doesn't really worry about that kind of stuff, like your lips are pretty good in general, then you'll really like this. My God, look at that fucking pearl. Do you see this? Oof. I am so excited for this new direction that they're taking. Actually, no, I wouldn't say new direction. This is literally one of those situations where it's like back to form, where they like go back to what they were supposed to be, but a little bit more upgraded, it's more sophisticated. Because at the time, the aesthetics of the brand were kind of cool, especially with like all the YG artists under there, but looking back at it now, it's a little bit cringe. Oh my God, how do I forget about this? There was also a time where they were doing so poorly that they literally had on their official website, if you look at their jelly pot shadows, which were terrible by the way. If you go on the Sangse page at the bottom, because at the time when slime was really popular, they were like, oh, you can use these with slime. So they're showing you how to make DIY slime with these goddamn jelly pot eyeshadows. I was like, 진짜 망했구나. Like, they really did flop. And mind you, if you're out there making slime, you're not looking to buy expensive stuff to make your slime. You're really using like eye drops and like glue, aren't you? So why would you go and buy like this little tub of expensive pigment basically just to put in your slime that you're probably gonna only use a few times? I thought that was wild. But hopefully they got their shit together now. Anyway, good luck to Moonshot. If you see this video, hit a girl up, because they do have an English website, which is what I've been reading off of, so I'm assuming they ship internationally. Ooh. My brows are so uneven. Anyway, I hope you had fun walking down memory lane with me with Moonshot and stuff. So I'll see y'all later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Lip Seek.